Welcome to the commentary booth where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by a freelance social commentator who lists their favourite movie as American Psycho and favourite TV show as Yellowstone. Welcome back to the show. That is a giant drink bottle, Blake Robinson.
You got to stay hydrated, Jamie.
Especially
in this ghastly heat we've been served up early in spring.
Yeah, it is very warm. But yeah, that's a giant kettle of water.
Yeah, well, you've welcomed me back to the show, and it feels like forever between drinks, has it? I don't know. Well, it's time's flown. What was Oppenheimer our last?
I think so.
And you know what I was just thinking today? On Oppenheimer, we've been graced within a couple of months, let alone in the same year, but within a couple of months of a new Christopher Nolan film and a new Martin Scorsese film. Has it dawned on you that that's like a rare occurrence?
Yeah, the big directors are out.
It's like those things that happen with like the moon and the sun and the earth. What do they call them? Like, I don't know, are they retrogrades or something? Like eclipses?
Like an eclipse, yeah.
We've been dealt a goated director eclipse this year.
Yeah, some big movies this year.
Can you think of any others? It doesn't get much bigger than Christopher Nolan and Martin Scorsese, does it?
Nolan, Scorsese. Is there a Tarantino coming this year as well?
It won't be this year. It'll be lucky if it's even next year, but there is a Tarantino coming. Oh, we could argue we got, 4 Wes Anderson films as well?
Yeah, the short films. Greta Gerwig, she doesn't do a lot.
Yeah, Greta's etching herself into greatness as well.
But
it's been a year.
They're like the main ones I can think of. I can't think of any.
We just need to hope it's not going to dry up next year when the old strikes start rearing their little head.
Guy Ritchie had The Covenant.
True.
So there's been a few big ones this year.
It's been
good year for movies.
It's been a good year.
Probably the last good year for movies for a while.
Oh no, that's why we're gonna take it by the balls and just appreciate it.
Yeah, especially considering as the actors' strike is still going. The writers are back, actors are still going, because apparently 2% of streaming revenue is too much.
Yeah, back on. So you said writers are back. I did notice. I only spoke about it the other day. The talk shows are back. They are coming back.
Yep. All the writers are back in the rooms, but actors are still a no-go. So can't make a movie without an actor.
Well, depends who you ask.
Yeah, ask a studio exec and they'll say, yeah, we can. We'll just AI everyone.
Yeah, Netflix will tell you they can. So yes, you can make movies without actors. So realistically, all you need is writers, just heaps of them. People know what they're doing.
Yeah, and a few
But that's
tech
a scary
wizards.
Reality.
Yeah, not going to be great movies.
Only having self-serve checkouts. That's how I see it.
Yeah, it gets the job done, but it's on the strike note. Pario stands in solidarity and support of SAG-AFTRA in their fight for better working conditions. Our publication has always been focused on the creative brilliance of these individuals rather than on the business of film and TV. As such, we will continue to highlight their creative talents during this time so that their contributions are not overlooked. But yeah, this week we're heading into the Oklahoma oil fields to review Martin Scorsese's latest epic, Killers of the Flower Moon. It's an American epic Western crime drama directed and produced by Martin Scorsese, who co-wrote the screenplay alongside Eric Roth, basing it on a 2017 book of the same name by David Grann. It is focused on the members of the Osage tribe in northeastern Oklahoma after there is a bunch of murders under mysterious circumstances in the 1920s, which sparks a major investigation by the Bureau of Investigations, which would later go on to become the FBI. And yeah, really interesting, surprising that I was shocked that this is kind of all sort of based on true like incidents and like
Yeah,
based on a true story, but not like a direct true story, more just a collection of events that happened over a number of years.
it honestly felt like, touching back on Tarantino, it did feel like a Tarantino story, like a made-up Tarantino story. I don't know
Yeah,
if that was
it was
because...
very much like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where it was
And you know what?
it was a fictional story, but lots of real events
just
influenced it.
I don't know, it didn't feel like a Scorsese film, I'll say that first and foremost. But what made me keep thinking of the Tarantino Fantasy Lad is Leonardo's character in this reminded me horrifically of Rick Dalton from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, his Western character. I don't know, it was so distracting. Because he's adopted the same sort of accent and voice as well as he did in that. And I was just so many scenes, I just kept thinking back to scenes in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like even the whole set, like the town, is just that old Western town is almost like for like with
The Western
set
town.
from Once I was like, oh. But it was a very, very fun Scorsese film, I'll say that.
Yeah, I think the thing that was most distracting for me was Leo's constant, like, sour, frowny face. But apart from that, it was pretty interesting.
Didn't like it?
No, he was just, like, constantly, like, that's really annoying, Leo. Can you just, like, pull a normal face? Like, please?
It was a lot more, like you said, it's hard to believe it's based on real events because there was a lot of LOL in it.
So outlandish, like
That's what I mean. That's why it keeps giving Tarantino vibes. It was outlandish. It was very comical. It was very silly, very, very silly. But when you read
to
about
think that they could get away with all of the stuff they were doing, it's like no.
Yeah, when you read about what it's actually the real story and what it's based on, and I don't even think it was a lot of this. After reading about the real life story, I don't think a lot of this what was in the movie was like far fetched.
Oh no, like it was embellished, but it was not outlandishly embellished.
Yeah, but to make
it wasn't comically silly or outrageous. Like it was like, oh yeah, I guess people would blow up a house.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Maybe not to the extent that they do in this movie, but they would blow up a house.
On that note, it is like a murder crime scene investigation film. Even though you sort of know who did everything, like it still keeps you guessing and it still sort of leads you like, oh, hang on, maybe it was him or maybe it was there, maybe he didn't actually do it. So I did like that. It was like a very good little murder mystery film at the same time. Crime solving.
Yeah, I thought it like mixed a lot of genres. Like it started off as this sort of Western romance tale.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be like, oh yeah, they're striking it rich. Like they're going to randomly find another oil field, then their family's going to be loaded.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was, but then it transforms into this like murder mystery, like who's involved, what's involved, who's the one leading this whole ring, like how are they going to come to their downfall, and ultimately their downfall is a pretty ridiculous way to get caught out.
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't know. I had no idea what way, and even like when it ended, I still had no sort of idea what the original direction of the film was meant to be because it just kept jumping around a bit, but it worked perfectly. Like it wasn't ridiculous. Like every angle they came at it from just fitted in perfectly. Like you said, there was love, there was loss, there was comedy, there was a lot of like grim, stark reality of those times.
Some seriously graphic gore moments.
Yes, there was.
We
should touch too. This was a solid 3.5 hour film.
Yeah, clocks in at 3 hours and 26 minutes. I think that's Scorsese's longest movie, if I can recall properly.
Did he do The Irishman? That wasn't him?
Yes, so this is his second longest movie behind
Irishman would be.
The Irishman. The Irishman was 3 hours and 29 minutes.
Ghastly length.
And then, Killers of the Flower Moon at 3 hours 26, Wolf of Wall Street at 3 hours. He loves a over 3 hour movie.
Wall Street 3 hours?
Yep.
Jeez, the amount of times I've seen that and it's a 3 hour film. Gosh.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like 3 hours. This one definitely feels like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it did, but as it kept going on, I felt like this film could have just went on longer and longer. This could have easily been cut up into like a series. Easy. There
I
was so much
I
to it.
personally think it should have. They needed to get someone in to sort of rein Scorsese in a bit and like,
And
here's an editor. They're going to cut this down to a reasonable length, and you're just going to deal with it because this is outrageously long for what it is. And the way that it tells the story, like you mentioned, like it jumps all over the place.
there was a lot
like-
of stuff in it that shouldn't like.
It
would have
feels
done
like there's
without.
no momentum to this movie. You're going one direction, and then all of a sudden it jumps time periods or jumps somewhere else and goes back in a different way. And you're like,
There is a lot of pointless dialogue.
I felt like constantly off kilter. Like I never felt like I was getting into it properly.
I was thinking about this today actually, and for a 3.5 hour film, and like having like the FBI or the Federal Bureau of Investigation, its early days, be involved, and they only like lightly, they only just touched on that. Like I felt if they're going to make this a 3.5 hour film and have the freshly put together FBI, I think they should have had more information about that and like really focused on that more. Because all they had was like the Jesse Plemons character come in with his like sort of troops from the Big Smoke and sort of lay down their charge. I just thought, well,
Yeah,
if
they-
you're going to make it this movie this long and you're going to have it during that time and have it as such a big moment in history for the FBI, shouldn't you have more like Edward J. Hoover? I thought they would have actually, he would have got a bit of a run in this.
Yeah, they mention him, and that's about as far as it goes. And then
Yeah, it was almost just a name drop, and I'm like, well, if you're going to anchor it so heavily around the FBI and the history, like sort of maybe have a bit more about it. All right.
Yeah, because this is kind of one of the earliest investigations that kind of made the FBI a thing. And
it was one of the first. Yeah,
like if this was going to be sort of an FBI origin story, it probably needed to be more. Whereas like the way it is, the Bureau of Investigation, they come in and they wrap up. They're in it for like, 40 minutes towards the end of the movie, and they wrap up the whole thing seemingly in a few days.
it was very rushed. Yeah, yeah, I thought that was a bit strange or a bit underdone. If I was going to fault it,
Yeah. But like
yeah, I did
after watching it, I did some research on like what it was all inspired by. And yeah, we mentioned based on a real unsolved murder, series of real unsolved murders known as the Reign of Terror, which lasted from 1921 to 1926, where somewhere between 60 and hundreds of wealthy, full-blood Osage Indians were killed, basically to get their claim at the native land rights for the oil money that was coming in.
It's such it's very, very grim and like serious thing that happened, but it was so funny seeing like all these very rich like Indians and they're just treating like the whites as like the slaves, so to speak,
the
or
poor
the second
slaves,
class
like
city.
the drivers and
Oh man, I couldn't help but chuckle. I was like, "This is just a role reversal." I thought
that was
funny.
that was a cool way of like exploring like the racism dynamic without it like
Oh yeah, they completely flipped it.
yeah
Flipped
making
the
you
script.
feel
It was
awkward
great.
for being involved.
Oh, it was just a lot of those like chuckles and laughs and giggles that like, oh no, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but this is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy how they did it all. Hey, so like the whites planned to marry these Indian girls who had the heir to the land, the heiresses to the land. Then they just slowly kill them off.
Yeah. So yeah, like I
Stark
said,
reality.
starting as this like sweet romance between Leo's character and Lily Gladstone's character, and then quickly develops into this like dark, nefarious sort of criminal scheme, like with racism elements, murder, but almost genocidal levels of murder,
I was about to mention
poisoning
that
and
it's
mobsters.
they all get sick and they all get these diseases. What a lot of them had diabetes, and it was only the Indian women that had diabetes and these terminal illnesses. Like What
To be
were
fair,
the whites?
diabetes was pretty rampant in that time because they were
Was
used
it?
to eating lots of like native like food, like they'd
Clean foods.
eat grains and
Yep.
plants and lots of like native like bush tucker essentially, and they'd occasionally
Yeah.
get a bit of meat. But like when the white man came in and sort of propagated throughout the West, there was lots of like breads and like refined grains and sweets and stuff like that. And then that's when like a lot of the Native Americans developed diabetes. So they were
Yeah.
struggling with that. And like they touch on that where she's sort of constantly like sneaking sweets because it's like a treat for her. But then like they're like,
Yeah.
you need to not eat like a white person. Like your body is not built to eat like a white person. And
Yep.
yeah, they
Well,
they
that's
sort of take
that.
advantage of that where they like start poisoning her insulin, which is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that was you wanted to be on Leo's side this whole movie, didn't you? That his character, but then when he gets arrested and information starts coming out about what he actually did to his wife that he was supposed to love, they're like, "Oh, you piece of shit." I don't know.
Was he like a bit slow though? Was he like a little bit mentally deficient?
Oh, I think from maybe like war damages.
Because he just goes along with everything and like, oh yeah, put this stuff in her insulin, and it's like clearly making her sick, and he's just like, I got to keep putting it in
I
there.
don't know. I don't know if you can let him get away with it off those.
Oh, I'm not letting him get
grounds.
away with it, but like,
No, I know, but no, I know what you're saying. Like, his character definitely is a bit slow and blasé, and like, yes, sir,
Like-
I'll do that.
from the outset, the whole conspiracy that they're
But I
putting
think from
together,
his,
he just goes along with everything. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to marry this girl. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work for these people. Oh yeah, you want me to go get this
but
person to do this murder?
Is it his blood uncle, Robert De Niro's character, Bill Hale? Is that his blood uncle? He just calls him uncle.
I think he just calls him uncle because
He's like a very controlling sort of man and character, and I think everyone's just grown up to listen to him, and he's got a lot of respect in the community. So whatever he says goes, so to speak.
yeah.
So when old Leo comes back from war with no other options, he sort of says, "Yes, sir, I'll do that. Whatever you say, sir."
And then yeah, ends up almost killing his wife. Like Jesus Christ! And it takes like the death of his youngest child to be like, okay, this is wrong. I need to sort this out.
What did she die of? Whooping cough or something?
Yeah, whooping cough.
Hectic.
Just pretty full on.
Back on Jesse Plemons, something come across my desk today. He was scheduled to appear in Jordan Peele's Nope film.
Mm-hmm.
But he had to pull out of it because it was filming at the same time as Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, like that's another director we got recently, Jordan Peele.
He's doing everything.
But he's also
Jesse Plemons. He's the man. I rate him.
and yeah, Jordan
I
Peele.
love his characters.
Jordan Peele's kind of fallen off for me.
Same.
From the heights of Get Out to
Oh, the highest of highs.
Nope was better than like the Candyman and the one before that. Us. But it's still nothing.
Was a disappointment.
Nothing will get
Get
out levels.
Get Out is elite. I still go back and watch that. It is unbelievable. Yeah, but yeah, like you said, he dropped off hard. I don't know what happened. I have a rough idea. Maybe he got a bit too political in his films and he sort of lost the idea. But that's
and I think people go in expecting that now. Like all of us went in to Get Out expecting just like a horror movie.
Greatness.
And then it like spun it like, oh, here's this like
got real
social commentary element to me. Like, oh shit, this is actually really cool.
Yeah, it was.
Whereas
it was deafening. Hey,
all of the new ones are like,
it's completely lost the point.
All of the new ones, you pick it up like straight away. Like, okay, this one is focusing on this aspect of society, and it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's just not like it doesn't interest me at all. But at the same time, that's exactly what Get Out was. Like, but I don't know, it worked. Like it wasn't too in your face.
Yeah, and it came as a shock. Like we weren't expecting
and
that when we went into it.
It's not obvious. Like, oh, it's sort of like what we just mentioned in this. Like the Indians are the rich ones, and they're like slaving around for the second class whites. That's almost like what Get Out was. But you could enjoy it. It was like a cool, like interesting side of it. Like it came from a funny take. But yeah, we're not here to talk about that. What else
We
we got?
mentioned the like long running time, and during a press conference at Cannes this year, Scorsese said he described the movie as it's not a whodunit, it's a who didn't do it, and I thought that's the best quote for this movie. Like that's it summed up in one sentence.
Everyone's got blood on their hands.
Yeah,
Everyone's
everyone was
a victim.
involved. It was fun.
Everyone's a suspect. Fun fact, I was actually in Cannes this year, the day this premiered.
Should have went. We could have done this episode months ago.
I wanted to go to a movie because what else? The Idol, that show that got cancelled, was it Lily Rose Depp in the weekend?
Oh yeah, that was terrible, wasn't it?
That premiered while I was there. The day I got there, Asteroid City, Will Anderson, that premiered. There's some heavy hitters while I was
Wes
there.
Anderson.
But yeah,
not Will Anderson.
You can't get tickets for anything. There's people
Wes
around
Anderson,
the streets
not Will.
everywhere.
There's a big difference there.
What did I say, Will?
Yeah.
Will Anderson.
Will Anderson versus
Jeez.
Wes Anderson, two very different people.
Yeah, they are very different people. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can just like rock up to a Cannes film premiere though.
No,
can you?
like I said, there was
It's
people almost
invite-
like buskers, like dressed in tuxedos, ready to go with signs looking
as,
for
like,
tickets to Asteroid City, like everywhere. Everyone's
like
just busking
seat
for
filler
tickets.
type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like all invite only. I don't think you just like rock
But
up.
it was cool. You
to
can
those
still
ones.
like stand outside and like see all the red carpets and that. So that was cool.
Yeah, nice.
It's probably the biggest security and police operation I've ever witnessed in my life. Like I said, when I was there, every single police officer in France was in Cannes that week.
Yeah, that makes
It was
sense.
unbelievable.
There's a lot of very high profile people that need to be sort of.
Speaking of Scorsese, bit of a cameo.
What a weird ass cameo that was too.
What did you think of that ending?
I did not like it.
See, I loved it.
Oh god, no, I thought it took away the overall impact of the whole movie. Like it,
Yeah, I know what
it
you're
made
saying.
it like
It did.
strangely comedic at the end with the sort of radio play aspect. Where I think if they took away all of the like sound effect goofiness, it would have been fine. But it was like that element just made it silly, and I was like, this was not a silly movie.
I know this is like probably going to be a disrespectful comparison, but this is what made me think of like in Barbie, how they in random moments they had like a narrator or the director quickly cut in for a moment, and it just sort of like broke everything up and like it took like all the seriousness, if you will, out of it, and it just made it a bit tacky. That is how I seen this ending. It just took away from everything, all the greatness you just watched. Then you just came like, oh well, nothing. That wasn't. Maybe we were just watching a movie of a movie.
Yeah, like we just went from this like 3-hour epic that was like constantly felt oppressive and like just stepping on you, like making you try and feel depressed more and more. And it just gets more and more oppressive as it goes on. And then at the end, it's like, oh yeah, here's just this silly like radio play joke at the end. I was like, oh, that just took away the whole impact of the movie. It'd be like Oppenheimer ending with like a nuclear bomb joke. It's like, oh.
Yeah, well, from an entertainment perspective, I enjoyed it. It was cool. But yeah, like you said, it took away a lot from the movie. But it was a cool ending. I didn't mind it. So yeah, basically instead of having the credits and like blah, 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 Bill Hale got trial for murder and died in prison in this, like all that sort of stuff, like a wrap up, if you will. They sort of did it in a storytelling way, a live storytelling, which I guess I didn't really realise, or I did, but I guess people would have went to the theatre back in the day before movies and listened to like a story be told.
Yeah, well, they
like
listen
to people read
listen
a book
to
on
radio
stage.
plays. Like you turn the radio on of a night and listen to a radio play. But
Yeah,
like, I did like that it brought that whole sort of like, oh, here's a black screen with the wrap up explanation and brought that to life. I just didn't like the way they brought that to life.
There was oohs and there was ahs and murmurs when Scorsese appeared. But it instantly made me think. Like I always think, like when a director appears in his own film, like, oh, what other films has he done this in? Does he do this all the time? And have I missed little Easter eggs in previous films?
Yeah, it's like
I don't know.
like
Can
the
you think of any
Stanley.
other?
It's like the Stan Lee cameos in all the Marvel movies until he passed away.
Yeah, and Tarantino's in more than half of his own films as well.
I think he's in nearly every movie.
Yeah, probably all of them. Yeah. I don't know. Now I want to go back and see what Scorsese is in any other films. I had a feeling he could be in Shutter Island.
I think he might be one of those directors that does it in a bunch of movies as well. Like
I have a feeling he's in Shutter Island, but yeah, I'd be curious to see what else he's in.
This one was like the most prominent of the ones that he's done. Like normally he'd be like a background or a side character, whereas this one is
actor too. Good actor.
He's right then and there. Fun fact about Scorsese, I was creating the graphics, and there's
big eyebrows.
No, one of the photos that's available for the movie is Scorsese sitting in the church with Lily Gladstone. And they're like obviously having a discussion about something. So I made the graphic of it. I was showing Karina, and she goes, I don't really like the one with the girl and the old guy. And I was like,
oh, the old guy.
The old guy.
Disrespect.
Like Martin Scorsese, like the director, the historic director. And she's like, shut up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so
kids these days.
That was funny. What did you think of the cinematography?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I couldn't pinpoint it as a Scorsese film if that's the answer you're looking for. But yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was very well done. What, were you expecting more or expecting less?
No, I thought it was like beautiful cinematography, particularly like the more quiet moments where they would just show like, here's the vast landscape, or here's Lily Gladstone's character just like out in the plains.
There was a lot of good close-ups.
Praying. Like all of those like really wide angle shots of like, here's how big Oklahoma and stuff is. Or like, these are beautiful shots. And I wonder if is this in IMAX? Because those shots would be epic in an IMAX cinema.
Or the Las Vegas Sphere, Max. Everything now I'm just like, ooh, wonder if that would be on in the Sphere.
Yeah, some of that footage from that Sphere is insane.
That thing's nuts, bro.
Have you seen the TikTok of the guy playing golf with the Sphere in the background?
Yeah, that's like the face. It's so good.
Like, ooh, it like mocks him. Like, that's embarrassing. That thing's insane. They were building that last time I was there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you two are doing a residency there now.
Wild.
There's rumours of Harry Styles playing there next year for a residency. This is so good. What would you like dream movie to watch there and dream artist to see there?
A movie, you'd have to go with something like Interstellar or Oppenheimer.
Oh yeah, I'm back on Nolan for Dark Knight Rises. I just everything comes back to that opening scene.
The Batman epic in there.
In that plane when it's falling. It's honestly one of the most epic movie scenes of all time.
I'm trying to think like musical acts would be cool there.
Oh, like maybe Underworld or something. Oh yeah, Underworld for sure. Or like Prodigy, that'd be cool.
Someone like Prodigy or something would be pretty insane. Skrillex or like Diplo. I'm
surprised like Tiesto, he plays in Vegas every other night. He'd be there soon. Yeah.
Throw it out there. T-Swizzle.
Oi, speaking of
Taylor Swift in there would be pretty sick.
Era's tour movie this Sunday. This would be exciting for me.
Oh, you're going to see it?
I'm going, yep.
Very nice.
Anyway, what was I going to say about cameos in The Killers of the Flower Moon? What have we had? Unexpected ones. Jesse Plemons, Martin Scorsese. I think a big one, they got people Ewan and Aaron. Brendan Fraser.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen The Whale?
Yes, and I was just about to say his character's obviously... I maybe think like what other Brendan Fraser films there are in the past. Like
The Mummy.
Everything now just seems like his character's going to be the whale.
Pretty much.
Because he's still got a bit of heftiness about him in this. And I think just the way he spoke and the way his character is, it just made me think about the whale. Maybe he just is the whale from now on.
Yeah, I think he's going to get sort of these more serious roles now where he's like, an attorney or someone like a big...
Anyway, what did you think of his inclusion?
I thought he was pretty decent. Like, he didn't have a huge role. John Lithgow as the prosecutor I thought he stole the show in the court scenes.
Who dat?
The bald guy from Third Rock from the Sun.
What's his name?
John Lithgow.
No way.
I thought his scenes were a
Doesn't ring a
bit stronger
bell.
for me.
Did you know Brendan Fraser was in this?
I didn't know John Lithgow or Brendan Fraser was in this. I knew Jesse
Or
Plemons.
Jesse Plemons.
I knew
did
he
ya?
was in it. Yeah, just because I've seen like he's been in
Literally
some,
everything at the moment.
yeah, he's been in like either an early trailer I saw or like some sort of
I didn't watch
promotional.
the trailer for this. I didn't watch the trailer for this, so
I watched.
it was one
I
of them
think I might have
movies.
watched the first one and then was like, yeah, I'm in.
I've seen enough. Get it out of my
Yeah, pretty
face.
much.
I've seen enough.
Like that's enough.
No spoilers. Trailers are notorious for a spoiler these days. Anyway, who else we got in there? Robert De Niro, obviously.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. The rest were all sort of bit parts. Who did you think was the strongest performance in this?
I throw this around so much lately, this term, and the word career defining. I don't know, man. Robert De Niro was red on in this. He nailed that.
My one
As far as
drawback from that
Oscar buzz goes, I think Robert De Niro was the standout from this film.
Yeah, I think my one drawback from that is he kind of played for me, he was giving off Dad
Meet
from
the
Meet
Parents
the Fockers.
Yeah. I know, but it's just like, that's just who he is.
Yeah, but
I think
thought-
that every movie I see him in, I think the same, though.
I thought Lily Gladstone as Molly Burkhart was incredible
she was
as well.
Brilliant.
Like,
yeah, she was brilliant. She'd be definitely a...
that's a career defining role for her because I don't know if she's been in much before. Like I think
No,
we're going to see her a lot more.
And I just think Leonardo DiCaprio is just plateaued into greatness now. Like he'll never do anything better, and I don't think he can really do worse. Like he was tremendous in this, but I just think for a few years now he has just hit that peak, and he's just going to stay at that peak.
Yeah, he's
Like
kind of
everything he does great. He's just the greatest of all time. There's no debate about it.
Yeah, he's got himself at a really difficult point now though. Like everyone
can't be
expects
better.
everyone expects greatness from him every time he like is trotted out in a movie. Like he doesn't do a lot, so when he does come out, everyone's like, okay, this is going to be great. And like it's hard to live up to that expectation.
I don't know. He just seems
And,
like
like,
a natural. He's just,
For him to get back up into like best actor territory, like how is he going to do that? Because everyone goes in there expecting an awesome performance, they get an awesome performance, and then they're like, it was fun. It's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
it was Leo fine, everyone else is fine. Is like different levels.
he still only won that one Oscar for The Revenant.
Or one
mental.
best actor.
Mental.
Yeah.
It's hard to get my head around.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's
He didn't even win one for Wolf of Wall Street, hey?
nope. Which he should have.
That was probably, off the top of my head, that's probably his best performance ever.
I think that was better than The Revenant. I think The Revenant
Yeah.
won because it was
The
such
Revenant was good, but
such a hard role to do with very few like lines of dialogue to still get the character across.
the acting. He did the acting for The Revenant. Unbelievable. Yeah, forget the lines. He could have done that whole movie without a single line, but the acting was unreal.
Yeah, which I think is
I
why he
won't
won.
say it was a consolation prize, but it was definitely well deserved. But he got robbed for years.
And then
I mean, is this up? This is up against Oppenheimer, Barbie as well. Hey, for Best Picture this season.
yeah, it will be, I imagine.
Yeah. Where do you rate it against those two? I personally think this is above Oppenheimer.
No.
Nah,
No.
huge.
Yeah, not even close for me.
Wow, not even close.
Oppenheimer like made me feel things. I left that cinema. I was like, I feel
Yeah.
horrible right now. This one, I kind of walked out being like, that last scene annoyed me, which is not what you should be doing when you walk out of a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, look, there's not much in it, but I enjoyed Killers of the Flower Moon more than Oppenheimer, as far as enjoyment goes. I didn't hate Oppenheimer. It was great, but as far as like entertainment goes, I was more entertained by Killers of the Flower Moon.
You are a madman.
But I'm not like a judge. I don't judge this stuff for awards, and I'm not going to pull it apart. But as far as entertainment goes, Killers of the Flower Moon was for me. Oh, if you want to add Barbie in there, Barbie blows them all out of the water.
Okay, we'll revisit this once the Oscars are done. if I'm right.
We'll do a live stream of the Oscars and get back to you.
We have to do like a pizza or a chicken wing bet or something. Like the winner has to buy chicken wings.
Yeah, we'll do something. Yeah, mate. I'm actually wonder what the odds are.
And then, a couple of the other little trivia parts. This is the 7th collaboration between Scorsese and DiCaprio, which is pretty nuts. And the 11th time the Scorsese and De Niro have worked together, which is even more wild.
11?
Yep.
Shit. I don't know if I could name 11 De Niro films or 11 Scorsese films.
Scorsese movies. Let me have a look.
I could probably do 11 De Niro films.
De Niro movies.
What's all 11 of that were both in? They both did together.
Robert De Niro Scorsese movie. They are Raging Bull, The Irishman, Mean Streets, Taxi Driver, King of Comedy,
Taxi Driver,
Cape Fear, Casino, The Last Temptation of Christ, Shark Tale, The Irishman. Oh no, yeah, that's The Irishman. Some other like weird thing, and The Joker.
Hectic.
Like it's a lot.
That would have been the last movie he was in, The Joker, De Niro.
No, don't think so. He was in something sooner than that. De Niro filmography. He was in films.
That was a bit of a cameo role too, The Joker for De Niro.
Yeah, towards the end. So he's in. Wait, that movie's Killers of the Flower Moon. He was in Savage Salvation, which looks terrible. Amsterdam. He's in Amsterdam.
Geez, I still haven't seen that.
The War with Grandpa. Irishman, Joker.
Was Irishman after The Joker?
Irishman was yes, after the Joker.
Interesting.
Both 2019, so they're both the same year, but
yep,
one after the other. So yeah, it's another one of those like Tarantino things where like he has his stable of actors and just rotates them in and out in whatever roles he sees fit for them, and looks like it's basically, if it's going to be a Scorsese movie, there's going to be Leo and De Niro almost guaranteed to be in it.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Keep them coming.
And then in terms of budgets, they spent $200 million on this movie, making it
huge.
The most expensive biographical film ever made, surpassing The Irishman, which cost $159 million. And it's the most expensive US R-rated film ever, surpassing Matrix Revolutions at $190 million.
That's an interesting one. I was actually thinking too, like, I wonder what the popularity of this is going to be like. Like, yeah, it was released at a good time away from Barbenheimer. Like, are people going to sort of flock to see this because there's not really a whole lot else on? Like, it just feels like, for me, it's a bit of a flat, like, dead time at the moment. Like, I just don't know. I don't think this is going to go too well for some reason.
I think the biggest issue this one is going to have in terms of like sort of raking in some revenue from the box office is the fact that it's been heavily promoted on Apple TV. Like, this is an Apple TV movie. It's coming to Apple TV Plus soon. And I think people are going to see that and be like, I'll just wait. Especially at 3.5 hours. I think a lot of people are going to be like, I'll just wait and watch it at home. And then I can pause it. I can go to the bathroom. Like, I don't have to be like...
People hate...
I don't have to be like Blake and run to the bathroom 4 times in one movie.
I know, right? But you know another part of that with long movies, and I found... This is why I need to rewatch The Irishman. I still haven't got back around to it because the first time I did, I just scrolled on my phone because I just got bored. Like, I feel as though long movies, you need to watch them in the cinema because you're there and you're present and you can pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, long movies, you just, it doesn't matter how interesting it is, like, you lose attention no matter what. There's always something going on. And as soon as you snap out of it and that keeps happening, you're gone. So I
Yeah.
think, but like I just said, like I've noticed people don't like going to the movies anymore
Yeah, it's got to
for
be
so many reasons. For so many reasons, but I think it's great. I love an excuse to go to the movies.
yeah,
But
like
back on Apple TV,
now
isn't
a
it
movie
Paramount?
for a movie to get you to go to like the cinemas now, it has to be like really compelling. Like, it has to be a
Oh,
Barbie or an
don't get me
Oppenheimer.
wrong. There's a lot of movies, and I'm like, I want to see, but I'm like, I'll just wait for that to come out in the streaming.
Yeah, and I think this one's going to have that issue where people already
Yeah, I
know
think so
it's
too.
coming to Apple soon. They're like, it might only
Yeah,
be a couple of weeks. I might as well just wait. It's not like it's going to be
yeah.
6 months down the line.
People need to get out of the house and go to the movies.
Yeah, I wouldn't rush to go
Pay
and
the
see this
wages
one.
of the poor girls scooping your popcorn. Get out of the freaking house. Go to the movies. I love going to the movies.
Am I the only one that finds it weird that they haven't like done self-serve popcorn yet? Although
Yeah, that's
I think the Hoyts at Entertainment Quarter does that.
Bruh, I think COVID had other ideas for that ever happening.
No,
Do they even do the self-serve lollies anymore at like the Shore Harbour cinemas? Remember that?
I think they do. But yeah, I think
Well, I'll let you know because I'm going there to watch the Taylor Swift movie on Sunday for
There
the
you go,
first
you'll find
time
out.
since I was a kid going to Shore Harbour.
But yeah, I think the Hoyts at the Entertainment Quarter in Sydney, I think they have like their whole like lobby and snack area is
Yeah,
built
it
to
is
be
all self.
it's built to be like self-serve and then bring it to the counter and then pay and then go see a movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they have self-serve, but yeah. I wouldn't be in a massive rush to go and see this in the cinema, especially knowing it's going to be on my Apple TV Plus subscription in maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, I on that note, I don't think it will last long at the movies.
No, and I think the only reason they've done that is to be eligible for Oscars. Although I think they changed those rules. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you back on the Barbenheimer situation? Do you think the huge success of that, and it is fairly recent, that will have any effect on this, the popularity of this, or not really?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't see this one having like super broad appeal. Like, yes, it's a Scorsese movie. If you're a massive Scorsese fan, you'll go and see it. But yeah, it doesn't like scream general public. Like, let's go and watch this. Like, the
Was that the
Irishman
same
had that
as?
same issue. It was kind of like,
Oh, for sure. But
if you're
wasn't that
not a
straight to
massive
Netflix?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it had a limited cinema run as well. But yeah, I think it's again like this. The Scorsese 3-hour epics are very much am I a Scorsese hardcore loyalist? Am I going to go see it? If not, I'll just wait till streaming. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people will do that with this.
Harsh words, Jamie. Harsh words.
Like, I enjoyed the movie. I still gave it 4 out of 5 because of
Did you?
how well it was produced. But yeah, that final scene really dragged it down. The stop-start jumpiness of the storytelling dragged it, and yeah, I can't recommend like running to a cinema to see it.
Hey, fun fact: at the beach today, I saw a bloke reading the original novel, "Killers of the Flower Moon."
Wow, impressive.
Yeah, I felt like bragging to him that I've seen it 2 weeks before he's going to be able to.
You just went over. Want some spoilers, bro?
Yeah, you want some spoilers, bro? I seen it on Monday night.
Yeah, don't know how happy you would have been about that.
But yeah, interesting take. Reading the book before the movie. I'm more of a
Yeah, you're back.
if I like the movie, I like to go back and read the original novel.
Yeah, you
I
do
do that
things-
a bit actually.
You love doing things a bit backwards.
Yeah, it's got to be different. Just because everyone else does it doesn't mean it's tried and tested to success.
Yeah. So what would you rate Killers of the Flower Moon?
Look, I don't want to get too carried away here, and I think, but you throw me off giving it a 4 by how poorly you've talked it down. I'm honest. I'm going to give it 4 Indian oil heiresses out of 5.
I'm glad you went with Indian oil heiresses. I thought you were going to go somewhere very different with that.
What do you think I was going to say?
I don't want
I
to
don't
say.
know. I couldn't think of anything else. That's the first thing that came to my head. So I'm just not with it today.
Fair enough. Yes.
Quickly, I don't know if this is the time or place. The Iron Claw trailer came out today. Thoughts?
Oh my God, I cannot wait for that. Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, I did.
Bro.
It was a bit of a fun trailer. I was like, when's all the grit? No, let me finish. Then I was like, when's all the bleakness going to come in? But then it came in towards the end of the trailer.
Yeah, but they still only gave you a little glimmer of that.
That's what I mean. This is going to lead people into thinking it's a fun wrestling film.
Mm-hmm. And
Don't take your kids to see it.
It's not going to be at all.
Yeah, I'm keen as for it. But
I saw a tweet.
The trailer was sick. It was perfect. And I'm glad it didn't give too much away at the end about impending deaths.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw a very funny tweet that someone put out saying, I'm going to be that person in the cinema that after every death jumps up and goes, at least the bad stuff has all happened now.
Yeah, I
just
actually
to like
said
throw
that. Maybe
people
you
off. I was like,
retweeted it.
Yeah, that's funny.
No, it looks fun as hell. When's it meant to be coming out?
So it's a US release date is December 22nd.
That's foul.
I'm not sure if they'll do that here. I think it's January for us.
Yeah, hectic.
Because
it's a long time.
School holidays, not great for that sort of movie.
Oh, no way.
Like, there'll be very few cinema screens available, so I think they're holding it until January.
Yeah, right.
Which sucks. I really want to see it as soon as possible, but...
Yeah, I know. Same. The trailer was good.
It looks
very good. Did it justice.
Fantastic. And
it's just going to be on those Zac Efron great. Like, Zac Efron has a random role once in every 3 or 4 films or shows he does, and it's just groundbreakingly good.
And he
You're like, gosh, that's what he can really do. Oh, he's jacked with an inch of his life, Jamie.
Him and Jeremy Allen White are
Jeremy Allen White.
They are huge.
Yes, chef. Yeah, okay. Looks good.
Yeah, I recently did an interview with a wrestling belt maker here in Australia who made the belts that are being used in that movie, which is cool.
That's sick.
So yeah, that's Killers of the Flower Moon and a little bit of Iron Claw preview. Thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow me on social media at JamieUpsMedia and at Pario Magazine. And you can follow Blake on Twitter at Captain Crumbs with a Z. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Ups Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/JamieUpsMedia. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.